to the Local Buzz. The Local Buzz is a way for Vivana to showcase all the amazing things people out there in the community are doing to not only promote their businesses, but to also promote those within the community. And today we would like to introduce Amanda, who is the founder of Ink and Quill Communications. And she is going to go over a few things she is doing to help local professionals in her community uh, do better business through LinkedIn and resume building. So, Amanda, so good to have you today. How are you
Hello. I'm
doing?
great, thanks. How are you?
Good. How about we start off with a quick intro and tell us who you are, what you do, and why your passion is helping people, not only through, like we said, LinkedIn and building resumes, but through marketing in general.
Absolutely. So my name is Amanda Miller. I own Ink and Quill Communications, and I launched this company about 14 years ago. I do what I do because I really love educating people. And maybe that's my clients through things that I do, but maybe that's also their clients or their target market on what they do. I'm super passionate and jazzed up by educating people, and my medium for doing that is content. So I'm a writer. I have a marketing background though. So a lot of writers have a journalism background or maybe a teaching background. My background is all in marketing. I worked in content marketing and higher ed before I launched my business. And so now I work primarily with businesses that are small businesses, like most of us, as well as individuals who are professionals in those businesses or who are looking for jobs because I've been writing resumes for a long time as well. So that's kind of what I do.
Awesome. And let's just dive right in. And I know you were telling me earlier that you are offering a free LinkedIn training course. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so what I happen to find out is that things that you do, like I do, I don't think of them as being anything special because it's what I do all the time. It's just the knowledge that I have in my head. And a colleague of mine said, "Hey, would you mind looking at my LinkedIn profile? Now that we're all working from home, that's how I'm networking. I'd love for you to get a second set of eyes." I said, "Absolutely. Let's get on a Zoom call and I'll go through it and give you some pointers." Well, 30 minutes later, she looked at me and she said, "Okay, I've been in marketing a long time and I didn't know half of this stuff. This was incredibly valuable. You should be charging for this, bottle it up and sell it." And I was like, "Well, I don't know what I would charge, but since so many people are working from home these days and kind of lost and need to network, I've been offering it for free. I don't really sell a LinkedIn service, but I'm happy to share with people what I do." So for anybody, I now get on a Zoom call for about 30 minutes and I share my screen and I walk through their profile and say, "Okay, these are the things that I would improve. This is what's awesome. And oh, by the way, it's not just about having your profile, it's about reaching out to people and building relationships. And this is a tool to do that." So I give them a lot of information that they can use themselves. Can they pay me for it? I suppose I could write their profile, but it's not really something that I sell. It's just something that I do that I'm happy to share. And I've done probably about 10 of them now, and people are just like, "Whoa, I never even thought about doing half of this stuff. This is huge." And they're already seeing upticks in their business because of it. So that's awesome. I'm excited about that.
What is there like one thing in particular that's really stood out that that someone should do that they might not think about for LinkedIn?
The biggest thing is we're all on mobile devices most of the time, even if we're at home, right? We're like in the kitchen, not on our computer, and we're just inviting people or we're accepting invitations on LinkedIn. I think the biggest thing is that when I tell people, don't do that on a mobile device. Do that on your desktop or laptop because you can then write a note. And that's where the magic happens. So yes, you have to have a complete profile. Yes, you need to have 500 or more connections. But if you're not actually strategically connecting with people and saying, "This is why I'm connecting with you, this is what I want to share with you," without selling, of course, then you're missing a huge opportunity. And that's really the biggest thing is to connect with them on a desktop, laptop, and send a note each time, whether you are sending the connection request or you're accepting theirs.
Yeah, totally. Because again, you don't want to come off and look a spammy or look like
Right.
a false account. So when you put that extra touch in there, that extra note, it really shows that you are human
Mhm.
and that you're real.
Yep, exactly. And you can reference something in their profile. You could have a
Mhm.
standard one that you send to everybody. It doesn't matter because they don't know, because almost nobody does this. But at least you're saying, hey, here's a little bit about me, and always put something personal. That's the other thing that people hadn't thought about, is that you always want to have something personal when you connect with people and on your profile. So they think of it
Mhm.
as like this is a business sales component, but think about it as if you're networking. So you're just networking online instead of in person. When you network online, it should be the same. So in person, you might say, hey, I see that you're wearing a wedding ring. Tell me a little bit about your significant other. Or do you have any pets? Those are conversation starters. And so by having that personal information, I have something that about Wonder Woman. I love Wonder Woman. I collect all this stuff. People resonate with that and they talk to me about it. So people can do the same thing just by adding that little personal touch.
I know I like since I'm from North Carolina, I always like to see where people are from or where they went to
Mhm.
school, and if there's that East Coast connection, I always tie that in and be like, "Oh, I see you live in the desert too, but we're both from the East Coast. How long have you been
Right.
out here?" Try to do that personal connection because we have that in common with each other. So I
Hmm.
totally agree with you on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then too, I know you had also mentioned about resume. Right now, there is a need for people to make sure that their resume is in top notch, and when they are out there looking for jobs, that they do put their best foot forward. And you mentioned that there are a few resume review packages and things of that nature. Can you talk a little bit about those?
Yeah, it actually really ties in with LinkedIn because a lot of job seekers are now using LinkedIn to find a job. So obviously you need to have a complete LinkedIn profile, but what is your LinkedIn profile based on? It's based on your resume. And so I'm finding that, and I've always found this because I've been writing resumes for 20 or more years, that people just don't know what to put on a resume to share value. They end up having just a laundry list of everything that they've done and they forget to include accomplishments. Like, where have you made a difference? So we have an unprecedented amount of people looking for jobs right now. And it's touching everybody. You might have thought, oh, it's just the restaurants or it's just retail, but it's touching doctors and dentists and attorneys and white collar workers across the country. So a lot of those people are now looking for a job and haven't had to in 5, 10, 20 years. And they don't have a resume and they don't know what's current best practices. So I always, now and forever, have offered free resume reviews. What I do is I go through the whole resume. I can do it on a Zoom call if they'd like, but I find that most people, when I write it down, they get more information because they can review that later. So I give them a written review of this is great, change this, this is what you should be doing, this is the best practices, and so on. And then if I feel that they need my help, then I'll certainly, introduce them to my services and say, hey, if you want to work on your resume, by all means, we can do that. And given the state of the economy, my packages usually run between $400 and $800. I added a new one that's less than $400, and it includes a little bit more than some of the things that I do. So this includes an applicant tracking system friendly resume. So ATS is what that's called. That's how people find you online. It's like search engine optimization, SEO, but for your resume. People don't think about it. So I'm offering them an ATS friendly resume, a cover letter template. I'll update their LinkedIn with their resume information and make sure that's all SEO'd and optimized. And then they get an hour of telling me all about their stuff and then resources as well. So I'm offering that now, which is a huge bargain. It's $350. And some people might go, $350. I understand. If you have to pay your mortgage or get a resume, you're going to pay your mortgage. But if you can get a job faster because you have a more professional persona, it's going to pay itself back in dividends sooner rather
Mm-hmm.
than later. But the reviews are always free.
So it sounds like the cool thing is that you can do a lot of this, obviously online, but also through Zoom. So again, you kind of have
Absolutely.
that personal connection when you're talking to someone about their resume or about their LinkedIn, and you can really get that feeling of who they are and what they're all about.
And that's a big thing that I do when I work with resumes. So you'll see that even LinkedIn profiles or content people that for that matter, they have a form, they send it to the client, the person fills it out, sends it back, and they write from that. And I don't do it that way. I never have. I talk to the person and say, tell me about yourself. Why should someone hire you? What is it that's interesting about you that I want to share in this written piece? So that there is personality. Like I'm just now reading Find Your Why, which is by Simon Sinek, who wrote Why You Need a Why, and he's talking about how the why that you have really resonates with people. And then it hit me like, why am I not really including that on resumes and LinkedIn profiles? If you just had one little thing that said, my why is to educate or to
Mm-hmm.
empower or whatever, what a difference that would make for people. And I really do get to that by talking to people, but I've never really asked that question of what's your why. So I thought, I'm going to start doing that.
Yeah. But then it just kind of goes from there. Once you find out their why, you really see how they tick and how they can, make be a good employee for somebody.
Right, right, exactly. Like, what's your value? And a lot of people don't know that because that's one of the questions I ask when I work with business owners too. And I'll say, what are your mission, vision, and value statements? And they just look at me and go, I don't know, I don't have those. But
Mm-hmm.
those are a huge component in me capturing the tone of a business when I'm writing about it. So an individual, you can have a conversation and I can kind of assess, maybe not what their why is, but their personality. But a business personality is a little harder to wrap your hands around. And so by having that mission, vision, and value, you really can give that personality. I just talked to a client this week and they're like, I don't know what you mean. I don't have that. Because I was asking questions like, if your business were a car, what kind of car would it be? And they were like, where will this go on the website? And I said, it won't go anywhere. But think about Target and Walmart. They're the same store, but they have very different personalities. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the same, if I'm dealing with two different plumbers or two different lawyers, they have
Mm-hmm.
different personalities in their firms. So
Mm-hmm.
how am I going to share that? I need to get at that. And that's the why, the mission, the vision, the values, all of that kind of information that a lot of people just don't think about. They think, well, you're just going to write it, right? Why do I have to give you any information? It's like, it's not as cut and dried as that. If
Yeah,
you
you
want
got to
to
build
add
a good foundation. It's that foundation to build everything else upon.
Yeah, exactly. You do marketing, so you understand. It's the same thing.
So, if people want to reach out to you for, your services, whether it's LinkedIn training, resume review, content marketing, how can they get a hold of you?
They can go to my website, which is IQ dash, because the other one wasn't taken, so it was taken. It's IQ-communications.com. They can look up Ink and Quill Communications on any platform. I'm on all of them. Or they can look me up individually on LinkedIn as Amanda Miller. And I have a picture of me in a Wonder Woman shirt, so I'm easy to find. Or they can call me if they want. I'm at 480-518-4462.
And then if they look you up on LinkedIn, they'll see what a good LinkedIn profile looks like.
Exactly. I do try to mirror it on mine. I have a full portfolio there.
Well, and two, I want to do a little plug that Amanda, she is located up in the North Valley area, and we are fellow Anthem Area Chamber of Commerce members. And I know through all this difficult time, the chamber's been really good about helping us, know what's as small business owners know what's going on, how to navigate these uncertain times. Would you say, do you have anything to say? Like for example, has the chamber helped you make sure that you are navigating not only yourself but your clients in a good way to make sure we all get out of this, alive?
Yeah, alive, exactly. Yeah, the communication from the chamber has been fantastic. Sometimes I'll get 2 emails a day about what's going on with the governor. That's how I found out things. that things were changing, what was happening. It was from the communication from the chamber. So that has been so helpful. Thankfully, my business isn't very much affected because, as you mentioned, I'm pretty virtual. So I
Mm-hmm.
haven't had to, stop seeing clients. I thankfully, knock on wood, haven't lost any clients in this. But, just communicating with them and letting them know, because my clients are small business owners as well. So the more information I have that I can share with them, the better. And the
Mm-hmm.
chamber has really given me that information, plus the Facebook page with the chamber, all of that information regularly, and knowing that we're not alone, right? We're
Yeah.
all in it together but separate. So we're all sitting at home doing our work, but knowing that you have that community, it's invaluable. And we all need some kind of community like that.
Yes. Awesome. Good. I'm glad. Yeah, that, it's been, I wouldn't want to say easy, but it's been, like you said, refreshing and comforting to know that someone's got our back and someone's
Yes,
looking out for our best interest.
absolutely.
Well, Amanda, I want to say thank you for joining me and chatting about what you do and your passion and how, you're helping professionals just make sure they're putting their best foot forward out there. And also thank you for being, a part of the Vimvana community. And we are extremely fortunate to know you and have you as someone who we can, look to for guidance in the future.